Good morning, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Alpa Sharma, and this is our new timing for our weekly editorial analysis. I hope you had seen my short video where I had already told you about the change in the timings and the number of classes that I'll be taking with you. But before I discuss this, could you please confirm if I'm clearly visible and audible? If I'm clearly visible and audible, everyone? If you could quickly confirm that. Hi, good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear and see me very clearly. If you could quickly confirm that. Yeah, Krishna. Yeah, you can see me clearly. Okay. So now onwards, I'll be taking our editorial analysis twice a week. That's going to be happening on Tuesdays and Thursdays, morning 10 a.m. So that's going to be our agenda of the class. That is Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. we'll have our editorial analysis. What are we going to be doing in the classes? We'll usually be taking up 2 articles from various editorials. It could be Aeon, Guardian, New York Times, Hindu, Indian Express. It could be from various sources, the Wired.com. And we will try to do a detailed discussion of these 2 articles from the perspective of they being editorials, and the articles will be handpicked according to their relevance from the perspective of all the MBA entrance examinations. If they can come as a reading comprehension or not, or if it came as a reading comprehension, how should we have solved it? We'll be taking out all the vocabulary from these 2 articles. We're going to memorize them every day we meet. And your homework would be that you tell me the tone of the author under my video in the comment section. I'm going to be checking each comment. So for both the articles, you write down tones for each articles, and I'll be checking them under my video in the comment section. We may be discussing the summaries, inferences, and multiple other things that can be read between the lines while we are reading the articles. Good morning, BYJU'S. Good to see you. So that's going to be our agenda of the day. So now onwards, I'll be seeing you twice a week in the morning, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Remember to bookmark this session. Don't miss out on that. The only part is that, see guys, understand this. I've been taking the Hindu and the various editorial classes on YouTube for quite a while now. And I've been teaching for almost 12-13 years with a fairly decent percentile in verbal ability in CAT, which I'm going to disclose very shortly. So the idea is that these editorial classes, if you aren't regular, they don't make sense. The only purpose of gaining a lot from these editorial classes is that you are regular with them. Because you can never master verbal ability by reading editorial once, understanding editorial once, working on vocabulary, tone of the author, summary only once. You need to be very regular, like religiously. So it's like a doctor prescribing a medicine to you. So please trust me, because it comes from a lot of years of experience that I've had teaching a lot of MBA aspirants, and I've been doing it for quite a while. Trust me on this. Be very regular with the practice. Verbal ability, specifically CAT, requires a lot of practice and a lot of regularity. If you miss out on that, आपके लिए इसको master करना बहुत difficult हो जाएगा. One more thing, all those people who are attending me live right now, this editorial will be happening every day. Aeon, not every day. Abhi we're starting with Tuesdays and Thursdays. And very likely March end onwards हम इसको increase कर लेंगे every day. So उसके लिए आपको मुझे help करनी पड़ेगी. ठीक है? आपको पता है आप मुझे कैसे help कर सकते हो? मुझे help करने के लिए आपको ये session like करना पड़ेगा, share करना पड़ेगा. The more viewers that I have, the more chances are that this session would become a regular one. ठीक है? तो आपको help करनी पड़ेगी मेरी इस चीज के लिए. Everyone who's watching me live, please do like the session and share the session. And so that's going to be the agenda. I hope everyone's clear with the agenda. Can we start with our vocabulary now? Before I teach you the article, I'll show you the vocabulary. I would expect you to take screenshots. ठीक है? Screenshots लेके याद करो words को और revision करो, और फिर हम article समझने का try करते हैं. We'll see article क्या बोल रहा है, what does it say, how do we read it, how do we break it into parts to understand it even better. So here's our first slide for vocabulary. Okay, otherworldly is our first word. Otherworldly is एक ऐसी चीज, I'll explain that in both Hindi and English, एक ऐसी चीज जो as if आपके वर्ल्ड को बिलोंग ही नहीं करती, किसी और, ये सुपर ह्यूमन है या फिर स्पिरिचुअल है या इमेजिनरी है, लेकिन अर्थ को तो नहीं बिलोंग करती. दैट्स अदरवर्ल्डली. In English, otherworldly is something that is very, very unusual, that doesn't look like it belongs to this world. It's out of the world. So music of an almost otherworldly beauty. Can I say A.R. Rahman's music? By the way, Eid Mubarak, everyone. Everyone who's celebrating, everyone who is in Eid Mubarak. So, here we come. Back to otherworldly. Can I say A.R. Rahman's music is almost otherworldly? It doesn't look like he's a normal human making music. It's so beautiful, so pacifying to our soul that it has some otherworldly beauty in the music. That is otherworldly. Word number one. Everyone who's watching my slides, you are expected to send me synonyms and antonyms so that the class becomes even more interesting. ठीक है? Synonyms और antonyms भेजते रहो. आगे देखते हैं. Fronds. Okay. Fronds basically, आपने fern plants देखे? Fern में there are needle-like ends. So fronds are leaves that have needle-like ends. जैसे palm leaf, ferns, these plants have needle-like ends. These ends are called fronds. Fronds of bracken, these are types of fronds. So we'll be talking about fronds in the class today. Then we have anemones. Anemones are sea creatures who are usually stinging, which have stinging tentacles towards the end of their mouth. So these are examples of sea creatures. There are going to be many, many more sea creatures that are mentioned in the passage. I've taken only one example of them so that we can understand them. Okay, so we have anemones as examples of sea creatures. The next one is canopies. Can I say a tent is basically a canopy? A tent. It could be. A canopy is basically a large covering on the head. It could be drape. It could be a canopy. जो आप restaurants में देखते हो, Goa beaches में देखते हो, they're like coverings. So like a tent is a canopy. Okay. So that's slide number one. जल्दी जल्दी screenshot ले लो सब लोग. If you're done with the screenshot, send me a thumbs up. Also guys, please keep talking to me so that I know कि आप लोगों को समझ में आ रहा है. How will I know if you're able to understand something or nothing? You have to keep telling me that. Okay? Let's move on with the next slide. Slide number 2. I hope you had taken a screenshot for the first one. Sequester. Sequester is usually used for a place that's a very hidden, isolated place. Can I say the murder took place in a sequester? That is a place that was hidden, isolated. A lot of people did not know about that place. That's a sequester. A wild sequestered spot, a spot that nobody knows about. It's a hidden one, an isolated one. That, my children, is a sequester. Okay? Alright, thank you, Prasad. Here we go with the next one. Plummeted. Okay, let me show you a graph. Okay? Can I say after February, the COVID cases have plummeted? Plummeted is a sudden downfall, a steep downfall at a high speed is plummeted. Can I say after we've received our vaccination, the number of COVID cases have plummeted in the country? No, the number of COVID severities have plummeted in our country. So a climber was killed when he plummeted 300 feet down the icy gully. So plummeted is a steep downfall. Speed se niche girna is plummeted. Next one is run amok. Run amok is wild, uncontrolled. Kids, if you live in a society, I'm sure you would see kids, because there's summer vacation, they would run amok, go uncontrollably, idhar udhar, they would keep running, destroying things, they would go crazy. So run amok is uncontrollable, probably destroying everything coming in its way is run amok. That's a phrasal verb. The last word of this slide is downward spiral. Downward spiral is a related word for plummeted, a downward movement. Continuous downfall or degrading or making something worse is a downward spiral. Her life was in downward spiral as she battled depression and addiction. So it just kept deteriorating, getting worse, और खराब होते रहना. is downward spiral. Did you get the words, everyone? Slide number 2. Screenshot le lo jaldi se. Okay, we're done. Chalo. Let's move on. Let's move to the last slide, slide number 3. Incapacitation. Now, guys, you'll have to be very, very careful. Incapacitation has 2 meanings. Okay. One, when you put somebody in a jail. Why would you put somebody in a jail? So that he's not capable of committing a crime anymore. So, not capable is incapacitation. Not capable of committing a crime when you put in a jail, or when a person is suffering physically, for example, paralysis, or for example, his hands, legs are not working. In that case, the person is incapacitated. He doesn't have the capacity to function. His body does not have the capacity to function. That is incapacitation. So the 2 meanings are either the body is not functioning because of a physical ailment, or आपकी body काम नहीं कर रही क्योंकि physically suffer कर रहे हो, या फिर आप जेल में हो. You are incarcerated. That also can be incapacitation. So we have 2 meanings for incapacitation. ठीक है? Hindi, please. Acha, I can use a lot of Hindi. My Hindi is very good. My Assamese is very good. My Marwari is very good. My English is very good. I can use all these languages. But one thing I'd like to know, how many of you are watching me who don't understand any Hindi? I'd like to know that. Because then if I use Hindi a lot, those people would suffer. I'd like to know how many of you are watching me right now who don't understand any Hindi. I can explain all that in Hindi, Marwari, Assamese, Bengali. I can write in them these languages as well. But you have to take a call here. How many of you don't understand any Hindi? I'll have a sip of water by that time. See, there are people who don't understand any Hindi. So probably I'll be explaining in a mixture so that both of you get it. ठीक है, थोड़ा हिंदी थोड़ा इंग्लिश bilingually सबको समझ में आएगा. Everybody would get it. Okay, here we go. Let's move on with the next word. So incapacitation, I hope everybody gets it. 2 meanings, either putting in jail or your body not functioning properly. या तो जेल में डाल देना या बॉडी आपकी either paralytic होगा. I'm sorry, not आपकी, anybody else's, God forbid. Paralytic हो गई है, limbs function नहीं कर रहे हैं. That's incapacitation. Next word, paleopathology. Let's break the word. Paleopathology. Pathos means diseases. ठीक है? Paleo means ancient. Okay? So basically, paleopathology means when there's a study of diseases that occurred in the ancient times, the prehistoric times, the Stone Age, the age where people who used to hunt and gather food used to live. So that's paleopathology. In Hindi, पुराने जमाने में, पुराना जमाना मतलब जब स्टोन एज होता था, तब लोगों में क्या डिजीजेस होते थे, उसकी स्टडी को हम बोलते हैं पैलियोपैथोलॉजी. लास्ट वर्ड, स्टीरियोटाइप. वुमेन शुड स्टे एट होम, घर का काम करना चाहिए. दे शुड नॉट गो आउट टू वर्क. दे शुड कीप वार्म फूड रेडी फॉर देयर हस्बैंड्स एंड चिल्ड्रन व्हेन दे कम बैक फ्रॉम वर्क. That's an example of a stereotype. Making an image in your head, a fixed image that doesn't change with circumstances, situations, societies. A biased image is a stereotype. A teacher should behave like this. That is, or a teacher should probably not sit with students, or probably a father should always be strict. All of these are examples of stereotypes. हमने image बना के associate कर दिया किसी person के साथ उस चीज को, वो stereotype हो जाता है. Stereotype of the woman as the carer. A woman always has to be the carer. A man cannot be the carer. That's an example of stereotype. Did you get this, everyone? Do you have any doubts in these words? Slide number 3, jaldi screenshot le lo. Does anyone have any doubt? Anybody, any doubt? Did you get this, everyone? As thankfully, I have people who... good morning, roosters. Good to see you back in the morning. So, new timing, 10 a.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Frequency increase कर दिया classes का. Probably May end onwards every day कर लेंगे इसको. Okay? So, words आ गए. I hope you're going to revise these words. Shall we start with the articles, everybody? So, okay. Harshal, good to go. ठीक है. So, I've got 2 articles and both the articles that I've got. But before that, if you're targeting CAT 2022, a comprehensive program course has been launched. What are you looking for? Enroll yourself right away. Call our counselors on this number and jaldi se enroll kar lo. I'm sure you would want to study from I am alumni and serial 99 percentilers. Look no further. Jaldi se enroll kar lo. This is the batch you would want to enroll yourself in. Now, the 2 articles that I've bought today, both the articles are from The Guardian. Okay, both the articles are from The Guardian. But I will first start with the second article. Okay, we'll first read this. This article is a very old one. Because I was hunting through The Guardian to find good articles. This is an old one, but I stumbled upon that and I loved it. And the other article that I bought appeared, I think, yesterday or day before yesterday. It appeared on Saturday, I think. So, these 2 articles we're going to be discussing. This article is important because this prehistoric times has been one of the favorite topics of CAT. If you look at the history of CAT, the kind of articles that have appeared, the prehistoric times, archaeology, study, paleo, all of these have been asked so many times in MBA entrance examinations that I just could not miss this article. So we are going to be reading this together. I will be telling you how to make your understanding better if such an article comes up in the examination. Okay, so that's what our agenda of the class is going to be. Chalo, so start karte hain. I'm going to give you 1 minute, rather a few seconds. Read this page and send me a done when you're done, and that's we're going to be talking about that. Okay, quietly read this page and send me a done when you're done. I'm saying quietly as if we are in a physical class. I'm so used to doing that. पढ़ लो, एक डन भेज देना जब पढ़ लिया हो तो. Send me done when you're done reading. Done? That was quick, Harshal. That was very quick. Okay. So, what is the author's argument here in this page? What is the author's argument? What do you think is the author's argument? What's author's argument here? What do you think the author is trying to actually plainly state? क्या आर्ग्यूमेंट है ऑथर का? ऑथर बोलना क्या चाहता है इन अ नटशेल इस पेज के थ्रू? एनीवन? क्या बोल रहा ऑथर? बोलना चाहता क्या है? इतनी सारी कहानी बता दी है, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, नेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ कैनबरा, बट व्हाट इज ही ट्राइंग टू से हियर? In one line, what's the argument? Guys, you'll have to answer. See, dekho bache, everyone, all the 9 people who are watching me live right now, I'm practically talking to a camera right now, okay? And if you don't reply to me, it's going to be pretty monotonous for me. You'll have to make it a two-way conversation. People care for the sick. Perfect, Sai. Perfect. Against the stereotype, humans may have been caring for each other even in the... Excellent. Perfect. Now see, can I say, Harshal and Sai, can I say this paragraph is the argument? The first paragraph here makes an argument that even in the prehistoric times, caring for the sick and the disabled, it was imperative, it was visible. Like while we find the skeletons and the archaeologists do a study on it, what do they find? They find brutality and violence always being there. आप हिंदू mythology देख लो, आप Greek mythology देख लो, आप Christianity देख लो, हम सब में stories है brutality और violence की, right? Everything has stories of brutality and violence, but we also have stories of caring for the sick and disabled. So can I say that was an invariable part? Yes, it was. Vishwajit, rather my child, it's the other way around. See, violence is at least as old as humanity. It's the other way around. Humanity is as old as violence. Because violence to hai. We have seen violence in many stories, many findings in skeletons in archaeology. But guess Harshal, there will be, because it will always be there. A few seconds lag. Because while I say something, it takes a few seconds to reach you. And then when you reply to me, it will take a few seconds to reach me as well. So there's always be a few seconds lag. Okay. So the idea is that it's pretty old. And humanity caring for people who are sick, caring for people who are disabled, we've seen in prehistoric times. Now how? It's trying to justify it here. So this part is called a premise or premise as you call it. Okay, so I'll be using argument, premise, conclusion a lot of times while we discuss the editorial articles here. I hope you understand what's the argument. The main thing the author is trying to explain. Premise is additional data that's trying to justify the argument. This is the argument, that's the premise. That some archaeologists are suggesting that prehistoric people treated illness, injury, incapacitation, and there was healthcare. Now remember, guys, when I say healthcare, what do you understand by the term healthcare? Healthcare does not necessarily mean treating diseases. Healthcare could mean a person is in a vegetative state, yet there are people taking care of them. हिंदी में समझाती हूँ, हेल्थ केयर का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप कोई बीमारी ठीक कर रहे हो. हेल्थ केयर का मतलब ये भी होता है कि एक पर्सन एक ऐसी बीमारी से सफर करता है जो कभी भी ठीक नहीं हो सकती है, आप उनका ध्यान रख रहे हो, you're taking care of them. That's health care. So for example, a person is suffering from cancer, उसका ध्यान रख रहे हैं, वो भी health care है. आप उस कैंसर को ट्रीट करने की कोशिश कर रहे हो तो वो भी हेल्थ केयर होगा. Okay, so these examples the archaeologists have studies, it confirms the presence of health care. It could be treating, it could be taking care. And there was a site, Man Back, in Vietnam, today Vietnam, जहां कुछ research हुई and 4,000-year-old young man was found. Uski body was found. And then people construed something out of it. What did they construe? Let's go to the next page. Okay? Read this page. This image is of the burial line. Burial line is exactly that 4,000-year-old young disabled man whose body was found. Read this page. Send me a done when you're done reading. Send me done when you're done reading this page. Exactly, Harshal. Absolutely. Read the page and send me done. Are we done? Are we done? How can you infer from this page that burial 9 received health care? How? From this page, how can you infer that burial 9 received health care? कैसे पता लगता है ये पेज पढ़ के? कौन सी लाइन से पता लगता है कि burial 9 को हेल्थ केयर मिला 4000 साल पहले भी? It was a 4000-year-old mummy, not mummy, a skeleton. How can you say they received health care? He received health care. कौन सी लाइन से? Let me see if you can guess it. The fact that the person survived a congenital disease but lived for at least 10 more years. This last line. Correct, correct, correct. See, I'll teach you something here. When there is a contradiction in the paragraph, but yet, although these contradictions, they actually mark a very important stance that the author is trying to suggest. I'll give you an example. So, if a student comes and tells me, ma'am, I work a lot harder than other kids do, but I am unable to score good in reading comprehension. Which is more important? He working harder than other kids do, or he not being able to score good in reading comprehension? The important part in his sentence is the second half, the one after but, because the first one is only a pacification. That doesn't count. What counts is that he is unable to score as high as other kids are. So, जब भी ये contradiction होता है passage में, the second half always becomes more important. And for that purpose, you need to be very, very careful when there's a contradiction mentioned in the passage. Please बहुत ध्यान से वो लाइन पढ़ लिया करो, क्योंकि author एक बहुत important stance देना चाहता है उधर, एक बहुत important बात बताना चाहेगा उधर वो, तो बहुत ध्यान से ये बट वाली बात पढ़ लिया करो. अब देखो, throughout the page, आपने ये पढ़ा that burial 9 suffered from a disease. An incurable disease where he had weak bones and his fused vertebrae, and he was crippled from lower the, I think, waist down. So he was crippled, he could not function, he could not keep himself clean, he could not feed himself. अब basic necessity, अपने आप को clean रखना, अपने आप को feed करना, वो नहीं कर पाता था. Yet he lived for another 10 years or so. How could he have done that? Others would have cleaned him, others would have fed him. He received health care here. That justifies that. So why am I focusing so much here on this line is that जहां author एक नया point of view लेके आता है ना, वहां मुझे बहुत ध्यान देना जरूरी है. कैसा भी reading comprehension हो. So the idea of having these editorial classes and attending them regularly is you come across such articles which otherwise you would have missed out on, and you understand इसको पढ़ना कैसे है. How am I supposed to read it so that my understanding gets even better? So sometimes I'll be bringing easy, sometimes I'll be bringing difficult ones. Okay? So this page is done. He received healthcare. Let's move to the next page. Read the page and send me a done when you're done. Then I'll be asking you a question here. Send me a done when you're done reading the page. Just send me a done when you're done. Done? which paragraph here? Just a minute, guys. Which para is an important one here? Which paragraph here is an important one? Is there an important paragraph here? Or we can probably leave all the paragraphs here. Is at all an important paragraph present in the page? Anything that you think is important here? Do you think you should be reading anything here, or you should be skimming through it? Anyone? Nothing? Okay, I'll tell you. So basically, this part completely is a furthermore explanation of what was stated in the previous page. That is, they had no metal, they could only go fishing, hunting, and they, जो हमने already infer कर लिया था, anticipate कर लिया था पिछले page में, that there were people taking care of burial lines needs, okay? And then this part is rather a part of a premise. I don't think this part should have been read carefully. The last paragraph, yes, the provision, yes, Riya, yes, Biswajit, and this case, let me see, Harshal, if this case. Okay, so Harshal, even if you read this part and leave the remaining part, I think you are good to go. Because, see, understand something, Harshal, here. When the author actually makes a good argument in the beginning, there is a very, very strong chance that he keeps repeating the argument and justifying it through various examples. One example was given through burial line. I'm sure there should be more examples to justify his point if there's a lengthy article. So, this case says there are other examples, not only burial line, but there are other examples that justify the same argument that we had construed out of the burial lines example. But I think this last paragraph becomes a more important one because it brings in one important point of view. That's the importance of culture. That is last para, yes. So that's the importance of culture. कि हिंदी में समझाती हूँ पहले, फिर इंग्लिश में आएंगे कि कैसे किसी का ध्यान रखना अगर वो इनकैपेसिएटेड है या फिजिकली डिसेबल्ड है या स्पेशली एबल्ड है, उसका ध्यान रखना कल्चर का एक पार्ट था, है ना? और ये सिर्फ आज की बात नहीं है कि हम आज लोगों का ध्यान रखते हैं. हम ध्यान रखते हैं या हम स्टोन फेंकते हैं और बुलडोजर चलाते हैं? स्टोन भी फेंकते हैं, बुलडोजर भी चलाते हैं, है ना? तो ध्यान थोड़ा कम रखते हैं. पहले आई थिंक इट वाज मोर द कल्चर invariably stated that you have to take care of people around you. It was a part of their culture. तो यहाँ कल्चर की इंपॉर्टेंस निकल के आई है, instead of it was it being important only today. ठीक है? So the only important part here is the last paragraph कि कैसे कल्चर में ये important part था. Okay, now let's move on to the next page. ठीक है? Next page is here. पढ़ो इसको. Send me a done. Point out which paragraph is important. Is there anybody in the class who wants me to explain each and every line to you? कोई है जिसको एक एक लाइन का इंटरप्रिटेशन चाहिए? मैं देखो, बिकॉज आपसे बहुत सारे लोगों से फर्स्ट टाइम मिल रही हूं, सो आई नीड टू नो आप लोगों को कैसे समझ में आती है चीजें, हम अकॉर्डिंगली मोल्ड कर सकते हैं अपनी क्लासेस. Is there anybody who wants each and every line to be defined in the class? Others who don't want each and every line to be defined, you could read the page and send me a done. Okay, रिया, ठीक है. रिया, मैं आपके लिए थोड़ा इजी बनाती हूँ देखो क्लासेस को, ताकि आपको समझ में आए. I'll make it easier for you. Done? Done, everyone? Done. Okay. So, any important part here? कुछ भी है important इस पेज में? देखो रिया, मैं आपको एक जिस्ट बताती हूँ अभी तक क्या बोल रहा था ऑथर. हम ध्यान देते हैं लाइंस में, ठीक है. तो वो कहते हैं कि हम इसको बायो आर्कियोलॉजी ऑफ केयर बोल सकते हैं. आर्कियोलॉजी, पुरानी चीजों को खोद के निकालना, उससे कहानियां बनाना, और केयर के बारे में उसकी स्टडी, कि कैसे पुराने जमाने में लोग एक दूसरे की केयर करते थे जब वो फिजिकली डिसेबल्ड होते थे. तो इसको उन्होंने नाम दे दिया है स्टडी को, बायो आर्कियोलॉजी ऑफ केयर. एंड ये बहुत सारी कहानियां लेके आती है हमारे पास कि कैसे एक पर्सन डिसेबल्ड था, कैसे लोग उनका ध्यान रखते थे. अगर आप बैरियर लाइन का एग्जांपल देखोगे तो वो 10 साल और जिया. कैसे जिया? अगर कोई उसका ध्यान नहीं रखेगा तो वो जी नहीं सकता था 10 साल और. लोगों ने उसका ध्यान रखा, दैट्स व्हाई ही लिव्ड फॉर 10 more years. सो यही एक एग्जांपल हो गया कैसे बहुत सारी कहानियां निकल के हमारे पास आती हैं. अब ये जो स्टेटमेंट है, जो भी स्टेटमेंट दिया हुआ है यहाँ पे फ्रॉम दिस आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट, ये सिर्फ इतना बताया गया है कि देखो मैं अकेली नहीं हूं, आई एम नॉट द ओनली वन हु इज फाउंड और द फर्स्ट वन हु इज फाउंड थिंग्स अबाउट health care in archaeology. There are other examples, other people who've thought about that. It has not come out of the blue. मतलब एक suddenly एक नया perspective नहीं दिया मैंने लोगों को. लोग सोचते आए हैं. There have been previous works जहां लोगों को ये पता चला है कि कैसे पास्ट में ध्यान रखा गया था लोगों का, how people were taken care of if they were disabled. And the person is, she is completely confident that there are almost any number of case studies where direct support accommodation was necessary. That means there are cases. इस पूरे पेज में Vishwajit says he himself had a sense of his own worth. I feel these lines are further. Exactly. Absolutely, Sai. I don't think even a single paragraph here brings in a new idea. Now, can we probably be less scared about cat giving us extremely long passages and we having the fear in my mind that, oh my God, how am I going to read that in the actual examination? Do you see? You don't have to read each and every part. That's exactly what's called skimming. You need to learn the art of skimming. You need to learn skimming by anticipation. Anticipation is सोचना, अच्छा ये बोल रहा तो आगे ये बोला होगा. मैं आपको दिखाती हूँ हमने एंटिसिपेशन कहाँ किया. हमने यहां बहुत कुछ एंटिसिपेट किया. हमने सोचा, we thought the questions that I give you, why, how, they bring in thoughts in your mind. You have to do it on your own while you're practicing. It has to be thought provoking. You have to anticipate. और जैसे ही आपने यहाँ कुछ एंटिसिपेट किया, आपने देखा इस पैराग्राफ में वो एंटिसिपेशन ट्रू हो गया, मतलब मुझे ये पैराग्राफ पढ़ने का नीड नहीं था. Similarly, when you come to this page, you did not have to read a lot of things here. You could have left this one. You could have left this one. It's repetition of the same idea again and again and again. If there's a repetition, you can easily skim in the actual examination. Just don't be bothered with the length of the passage that NMAT would give you, because वो already इतना time bound examination होता है, या CAT would give you, या ZAT would give you. Don't be worried with the length. At least हम focus करेंगे, रोज practice करेंगे, रोज मिलेंगे about how to read faster here. इस page में I don't think anything is important. Next page में चलते हैं. Before I ask you to read this page, do you know who Neanderthals are? Ma'am, when you are saying important para, you mean whether new idea? Yes, so basically it could be a new idea or it could be an important argument that is being made by the author Herschel. That is what an important paragraph or an important line could be, where either the author changes his stance or brings out an argument that can completely alter my understanding of the passage. These paragraphs are important ones. Back to the question, do you know who Neanderthals are? There are many times Neanderthals have been discussed in previous year MBA entrance examinations. Many cats. A cat has been giving us this for quite a while. Do you know who Neanderthals are? Yes, no, do you want me to explain this? बताओ मुझे. आज अच्छा, you know who Neanderthals are. ठीक है. So I'm assuming people know who Neanderthals are. पढ़ लो page, send me a done. Send me a done when you're done, okay? पढ़ लो, फिर बताती हूँ who Neanderthals are. Were. I will explain it. पढ़ लो ये page. Read this and then I'll explain it. Send me done when you're done. Done. Okay. So basically, Neanderthals are prehistoric Homo sapiens, our ancestors. You know, we have developed out of apes, है ना? And उसी stage में, I'm sure आपने ऐसे pictures देखी होंगी ना, smaller monkey से gradually increasing size, and then this is Homo sapiens, the current human, this one. इसी stage में this one and this one, rather this one was a Neanderthal. So they were ancient Homo sapiens. And हमारे evolution में वो एक stage था. So Neanderthals का ये है और ये existing Homo sapiens है, humans है. Neanderthals are extinct. How were they different from the existing Homo sapiens? They were shorter in height. They had broader lower half of the face, broader jaw, bigger nose, and angled cheeks with their face structure, and short heighted. They obviously would survive on hunting because वो Stone Age की बात थी. So these are Neanderthals. And अभी जब archaeology की आप बात करते हो, you come across a lot of remains of Neanderthals as well. So they are extinct, but ये ना ऐसे कोई कहानी नहीं है जो मैं बना रही हूँ. That's reality. जो होता था, जैसे डायनासोर्स होते थे वैसे निएंडरथैल्स भी होते थे. They don't exist anymore although. So can I say this whole page focuses upon giving you examples over and over and over again to justify the fact कि healthcare था, it was existing and it was a part of the culture. the willingness and ability to help and sustain the chronically ill and handicapped. देखो, willingness भी जरूरी है और ability भी जरूरी है कि आप हेल्प करो किसी को. आपके पास एबिलिटी है बट कोई विलिंगनेस नहीं है, यू वुड नॉट बी हेल्पिंग एनीवन. आपके पास विलिंगनेस है लेकिन एबिलिटी नहीं है, you will not be able to help anyone. So both the things were necessary and were present in the prehistoric times. Do you see the example of Neanderthals? 45,000 years ago, he survived to an age of 50. He did not, arm amputate means head cut हो जाता है, उसको हम decapitate बोलते हैं. Limbs cut हो जाते हैं, hands या legs, उसको हम amputation बोलते हैं. So this Neanderthal had an arm amputated. He did not have one arm. One eye vision was lost and he had multiple other injuries. Yet he survived till the age of 50. How would he be able to survive with all these disabilities? People would have taken care of him. Similarly, there was another example of another boy who lived till the age of 15. He had a congenital disorder, completely paralytic. He lived till the age of 15. How would he survive till the age of 15? People would have cared for him. So these merely are examples that justify that these prehistoric times, people would survive not on their own. They would survive with the help of others. And I think this paragraph also is an important one. ये कहानी में ना और information add करता है. देखो कैसे. He says there was a teenage boy who was a dwarf. Dwarf is not disabled, but at that time in that society, they were nomads who would hunt. Will the dwarf be able to hunt as fast and as efficiently as other people would? No. यहाँ उसकी disability आ गई. So, उसकी disability की वजह से he would probably have been dead if people would not have helped him find food by hunting and gathering. So there were people helping him, aiding him. All of these are examples of people of the prehistoric times who survived because there were people helping him. So examples repeated over and over and over again. Let's come to this one. I think that's the last page. Read this page, everyone, and send me a done. And then we're going to discuss the main idea. Read this, everyone. Send me a done. Read this and then you have to tell me what is the main idea of the passage in the chat right now. What's the main idea? What's the main idea, Harshal? Rooster, Sai, Prasad, Vishwajit, others watching me. What's the main idea? What's the main idea of the entire passage? In one line, not more than probably 10 words. One line. What's the main idea? They need to help people like Romino too who have disability. They need to. Roosters, आपने जो लिखा है ना उसका मतलब है उनको करना चाहिए. क्या ये है main idea? Harshal, is that the main idea according to you? The last para is the main idea, Vishwajit? All three of you are wrong. All three of you are wrong. Absolutely wrong. I'll correct you. Let me wait for others to answer. Yes, yes, Harshal, the main idea of the entire passage. Okay, similarity in curing disease. Okay, see, when I ask you the summary, everyone, 100% attention here. I'm teaching you a life skill. Thank me later when you get questions correct in the examination. When I ask you a summary, main idea, title, gist, main argument, I am ultimately asking you the same thing over and over again. These are various ways of asking you the same thing. How do we answer that? You answer one simple question. Why has the passage been, rather, why has the whole passage been written? Okay? अब एक एक करके let's analyze the options that you guys sent me. Let's start with Rooster's option. Rooster said they need to help people like Romy too who have disability. Rooster से एक बात बताओ बच्चे, क्या पूरा पैसेज इसलिए लिखा था कि वो ये बताए कि कैसे रोमिटो 2 जैसे लोगों को हेल्प करनी चाहिए, इसलिए लिखा था पैसेज? नो. Prasad, was the whole passage written to tell you ways of treatment? Rather, can I say, Prasad, nobody was treated in the passage. They were only being taken care of. I can violate your answer as well. Harshal, your first main idea was multidisciplinary approach led to this theory. What theory, my child? Unless and until you mention the theory, how will I know what's the main idea? Let me look at your second idea that you had posted. Taking care of each other has been a part of human culture. Everyone, is the whole passage written again and again to state exactly this point, that taking care of people who needed help was a part of human culture even in the prehistoric times? Yes. The whole passage is written to make this point of view. So, the second argument that Harshal has posted is the main argument. All of those people who are stuck, confused, who usually get these questions correct, even if there's no direct question like this being asked in the examination, you need to answer this, because your ability to answer inferential questions will be dependent on your ability to understand the main idea or the gist. Okay? आया समझ में सब लोगों को? अच्छा, किसको ये नहीं समझ में आया मेन आइडिया कैसे ढूंढते हैं? किसको ये नहीं समझ में आया कि इस आर्टिकल का जिस्ट कैसे ढूंढना है? किसको नहीं समझ में आया? बताइए मुझे. Okay, now I actually had bought, by the time people tell me समझ में आया या नहीं आया, I had actually bought 2 articles today. बट बिकॉज ये बहुत सारे लोगों के साथ मेरी फर्स्ट क्लास है एंड आई वांटेड यू टू नो एग्जैक्टली हम क्या मेथोडोलॉजी फॉलो करेंगे. मैं आपको हर क्लास में इतना डिस्क्रिप्शन नहीं दूंगी. विल गो फास्टर विथ क्वेश्चंस एंड आंसरिंग क्विकर so that we can do paragraphs. Now, I of course would need some help from you before I wind up the class. I'll need you to comment under my video. I'll need you to share my video. And I'll need you to subscribe the channel if you haven't done that yet. And like, of course, ये तो by default गुरु दक्षिणा है जो तुम मुझे पे करोगे अगर मेरी classes attend कर रहे हो तो. So I'll need you to do that. If you keep helping me with all this, if you like the session, please comment under my video that you've loved it and you've learned things out of my video. Because if you keep doing that, the number of classes will gradually increase. That's how you repay me for the efforts that I put in. Also, you can start following us on all these platforms. Okay? Now, the second thing is that I will be coming live now on Thursday, 10 a.m. Make sure all of you join me live, because live ki jo learning hoti hai na, it's uncomparable to watching a recorded session. So make sure you come live and watch me live and discuss it with me. Okay? So that's what I expect you to do. And you keep following us on these Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, Telegram, Google Play, download kar lo app. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you had a good learning time with me. I did not know, Indranil, you're there in the class. Please don't send me hearts. Video team blocks people who send me hearts. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a very, very good day. God bless all of you. See you on Thursday. Bye, everyone.